Hi, how are you? My name is Pete, and today I'm going to show you 3 different websites that will make your life in Elite Dangerous much easier. So there's actually 6 websites that I want to show you, but the first 3 are already covered in the part 1. In case you missed it, it's down in the description, but it doesn't really matter which video you watch first, so I recommend you finish this one first and then go back and watch the first one in case you missed it. Now, before we start, I just want to tell you that I'm only going to cover the parts of the websites that I'm using it for myself, but feel free to explore the websites and see what else they have to offer. So the first website I'm going to cover today is called Commander's Toolbox, and it's actually made by one of the YouTubers. His name is Down to Earth Astronomy. In case you never heard about the guy, I will link his channel down in the description so you can go and have a look yourself. So what I'm using this website for is it actually has 3 really good features. One of them is Shield Tester. So if you click that, it will show you this screen. And I know it's kind of confusing at first what it means. Basically, you choose what is it that you're building a ship for. So let's say I'm building a ship that's supposed to be good at bounty hunting. So you see those categories here: explosive, thermal, kinetic, absolute. So that basically means what kind of damage you're expecting to receive. So if it's bounty hunting, most of the damage you will receive is thermal damage. Now, explosive, not so much. Kinetic, I would say it's probably somewhere in between them two, and absolute would be probably a little bit low than kinetic. And you can experiment on yourself, whatever you feel like. That's basically damage per second in all different categories of damage that you can get. Then you pick your ship, say Anaconda. You pick your shield class. The smaller shields you can get on Anaconda is class 3. The biggest are class 7, so let's stick with class 7. Then you choose how many shield boosters you're using. So the maximum is 8. Let's put it 7, so we're gonna have 1 space for kill warrant scanner. And then what's the rating of shield boosters? Obviously leave it at A. And then you can also check if you're using one of the Guardian's shield reinforcements, you can put the megajoules value of those shield reinforcements here. And here that button is basically whether you allow prismatic shields to be calculated in that or not. So let's leave it off for now and let's calculate it. So here's the result. So the program recommends us to use that kind of setup. So it's a normal shield generator engineered with reinforced and high cap, 1 booster reinforced with heavy duty and thermal block, 4 boosters reinforced with heavy duty and supercapacitors, and 2 boosters reinforced with resistant, augmented and thermal block. And that will give you 4,326 shield power and 13,895 against explosives, 11,579 against kinetic, and 6,151 against the thermal. And to calculate that, the program used 10,226,520 combinations to give you that result. Now of course we can change it a little bit. Let's say we want the class 6 of shields, and let's call them prismatic and calculate it again. And as you can see, the values are a little bit different. So it's kind of the same recommendation, but different results when it comes to shield strength. So that's very useful, especially if you're building a ship for bounty hunting or hunting the Targoids or whatever it is you're building the ship for. So the next useful thing on that website is called Multi-Waypoint Planner. So if you click that, that's what you're gonna see. So what it does, it basically calculates the most optimal route from your starting system to other systems. Now, it only really works when you have to go to a couple of different systems. So let's say you're building a new ship. You got all the equipment on the ship, you got all the modules, everything is there. But now you need to go to different engineers to engineer all that special effects. Now, I understand you can engineer the ship remotely, but if you're using for special effects, you have to go to engineers. So let's say we just build a ship and we're in Shinrara Desra. So we're gonna add that system, make it a start system. And then we're gonna use, as you can see, there are common locations here. So there's most of the engineers, I think all of the engineers actually. and plus a couple of more important points of interest in the Galactic. But you can always just type it in yourself, as we did with Shinrarta Dezhra. So let's say we want to go to Lei Chung, we want to go to Diti, we want to go to Bill Turner and Felicity. So as you can see, it shows if we would go with that order, so Shinrarta Dezhra first, then Laksak, then Lesti, then Alyot, then Disayat, whatever you pronounce them systems, you would have to go altogether, all the route would take 554 light years of jump. But if you click that magic button here, it optimizes the route. Now, it's not much shorter, it's 506, but we only added 4 systems. But let's say we add a little bit more of them. And there you go. So it's 1105, not optimized. And if we optimize it, it's 800 light years jump range. So it just saves you time. Now the third and final option that I use this website for is Fleet Carrier Calculator. If you're new to fleet carriers, you didn't buy one yet, and you're wondering if you have enough money or how much would it cost you, that's the perfect website for you. So as you can see, if you have no modules, it shows you that the total buy price is 5 billion credits, and the monthly upkeep would be 21 million, weekly 5 million, yearly 260 million. Now let's add some modules to it. So let's say we want refuel, repair, armory, redemption office, and universal cartographics. So that will give you the price of 5,485,000,000 when you're first buying the fleet carrier with all the modules. You will still have 23,950 tons of cargo available on your fleet carrier, and the weekly upkeep will be 13 million, monthly 56, and yearly 688 million. Okay, so let's move on to the second website that I want to show you. So the second website is called Edsy, EDSY, and all it does, it basically allows you to check all different configurations of building a ship. So instead of going to the station, trying to find a station that has all the modules, trying to fit them in, spending money, see how it all is gonna work out, you can do it on this website. So let's go and pick, let's say, Anaconda. And you're giving this option where you can see this is your hardpoints, your core internals, utility mounts, military slots, as well as optional internal. And you can pick and choose whatever you like, and that data here at the bottom of the screen will show you how all the changes you apply to your ship affects the performance of the ship. So let's say we picked Anaconda here, and as you can see, the current jump range of that build, that was default build, that's the way you buy your ship with all the modules here, it's only 9.42 light years. So let's get rid of all that. By the way, you click the right mouse button to get rid of all of them, and let's fully A-rated the Anaconda and see how it's gonna perform then. So as you can see, the jump range went up to 22.56 light years. So you get all the information here. And now let's see, we want to find out how well it will perform if we actually engineer that frameshift drive. So let's click the frameshift drive. On the right side on the screen, you have an option to engineer that particular module. You can pick life support, you can pick power distributor. As you can see, they're all changing, depends on which model you choose. So let's go with the frameshift drive, and from this pop-down menu, you can choose which blueprint you want to go for. So we want to go for increased range. And experimental effect, of course, we want to go for mass manager, which gives us the longest jump range. And after applying all that, you can see here at the bottom, the jump range went up to 35.92 light years. Also, you can change, you can check your shields, how well they will perform, what kind of value they will give you. So let's go with 7A prismatic shields, and let's go with the full A-rated shield boosters. And there you go. As you can see, the raw strength of that configuration is 1820, I think it's megajoules when it comes to shield strength. And those values here, it's basically the value of the shields against the absolute damage, against the kinetic damage, against the thermal damage, and against the explosive damage. And that at the bottom is the regeneration value, so how long will it take to regenerate the shields under different conditions. So you get all the information here based on what you chose. So we can, as well as with the frameshift drive, we can engineer those shield boosters. So let's say we pick heavy duty and supercapacitors, and we do that to, let's say, 3 of them. And as you can see, the values at the bottom of the screen are changing accordingly. So right now the raw strength of your shields is 2951. So you can pick and choose and experiment different configuration of different ships you like, as well as you can save them. And it will basically save the configuration into your cookies. So if you're cleaning cookies quite often, maybe don't clean them that often because you will lose that save. But if you don't clean them that often, it will be there, and you can then pick and choose whatever setup you saved from that drop-down menu. So the third and final website that I want to show you today is called Coriolis. It's actually very similar to the one that I just showed you, the Etsy website. All it does, it basically allows you to check different ship configurations without actually spending in-game money or traveling around the stations to figure it out yourself. You can just do it on your website and figure out what kind of build you want, what is it you're looking for, and how does it affect your build based on different modules that you're gonna use. So let's go with Anaconda again. And as you can see, it shows us the default stock version of Anaconda. That's what you get when you buy the Anaconda off the station. Now, the first difference between the Coriolis and Etsy is that you can actually get rid of it very easily. So if you want to get rid of all the optional internal, you just click your right mouse button over here, and it gets rid of all of it. Same in hardpoints and same in utility mods. So the big difference between the Coriolis and Etsy, there's quite a few of them actually, is that you get all the important information right here at the top. So here you have the maximum jump range, unladen, laden, your integrity, which is basically your hull armor, and all other different data. So let's go with the jump range. So we have the obviously 6E frameshift drive, which the ship comes with, and let's change it to 6A. As you can see, it already changed it to 21.35 light years. And if you want to engineer that model and see how it's going to perform, you click that little wrench button. It will show you all the available blueprints for that particular module. And then you go with the increase range and mass manager, and it gives you 34.02 light years. Now, when it comes to shields, it's exactly the same story. Let's go with the shield generator, 7A, and here's your shield value, 595. Now, one interesting thing about the Coriolis is, let's say you want to go with the shield boosters. If you want to fill all your utility mods with shield boosters, all you do is you click this little button and you press shield 8 boosters, and it will fill them all up for you. Same applies here. Say you just want the shield generator and all the rest of it you want a cargo. You click here and you click cargo, and it will fill it up with the highest possible cargo value. Now let's get rid of that for a second, and let's say you want a shield booster 0A and you want to engineer it with heavy duty and supercapacitors. So that's fully engineered shield booster. Of course, it's going to change the value of the shield. By the way, here's the absolute value of the shield. Here's against explosive damage, against kinetic damage, and against thermal damage. Now let's say I want to have all those shield boosters engineered. So all you have to do is you have to hold your left Alt button and just drag and drop all the things that you want to copy, and it will copy all the shield boosters with exactly the same engineered as the first one that you copied. And as you can see straight away, it will show us that the shields right now will be 4112 megajoules. And also it shows you here in the red, that basically means that the power plant is not powerful enough to provide enough power for all the modules that you picked. So as you can tell here, the minimum you can go with is 7B, but all the other ones are red, which means that will not provide enough power. But let me show you one thing. Say we go with the 7C and we scroll down a little bit, and that table shows you your power distribution. So that's what you do on your right panel in the ship, where you can change the priorities. So let's say we don't want frameshift drive to be powered up when we pull out our hardpoints. So let's change category to 2. That's not enough. So let's disable our cargo hatch as well. And as you can see, now we have enough power to power up the ship. So whenever we pull out the hardpoints, which we actually don't have in this case, but you get the picture, you know what I'm talking about. It will basically mean that it will switch off the power for frameshift drive and cargo hatch, and you will have enough power to run the ship. Now this table over here shows you all different costs of all different modules. How much does it cost you? Now if you scroll at the very top, that will show you the recovery of your shields. That will show you the full recharge of your shields. And over here you can save your build. You just give it a name, whatever it is, and just press that icon and it will save it. And all the saves builds are over here. So let me pull out one, let's say the Federal Corvette project. And that's my full project of my Federal Corvette, and you get all the different values here. That color of that little part of the screen basically means which kind of shields you chose. So the green one is for prismatic. I think there is a blue one for the normal shield generators, yes. And it's purple for B-wave shield generators. So without going into specifics, you can straight away see by the color what kind of shields you have. So let's go back to it. Here's the interesting thing. You can press that little button on the top right hand corner, and that will show you all the materials that you need to achieve that kind of build. It takes into consideration how many rolls you need to get from grade 1 to grade 2, grade 2 to grade 3, and so on and so on. You can change it manually if you feel like you're unlucky and 15 grade 5 rolls is not enough to achieve maximum. You can change it to, let's say, 16. As you can see, all the values are changing with it. So you can copy and paste it in the notepad and then print it out or do whatever you like with it. And you will have a handy list of all the materials that you need, and you can compare it whether you have enough in your ship. Now another option is you can press this little icon of $, and that will bring you to EDDB website, and it will fill out all different informations that you need. And then you can see which stations actually sell all those modules, including the ship itself. So as I said before, there's a good few differences between Coriolis and Etsy, and I generally prefer Coriolis, but that's just my opinion. First of all, in Coriolis you have that information over here, which basically shows you, you see that 351.9 light years. That's basically your range with your fuel, without fuel scope, without refueling in any way. That's how far away you can go. That information, as far as I know, is not existent in Etsy. So if I would change that cargo rack to fuel tank, if I'll find it, there it is. You see it changes the range of my jumps to 804 light years. It's very useful when you prepare like exploration ship. Like I show you have one mine here, Exploration Anaconda, and it has the range of 323. Now if I add the fuel tank to it, it has the range of 920. So that's really important information. Now another difference between Coriolis and Etsy is if you go to main category and you're looking for exploration ships. So obviously you want to know which ships has the biggest jump. So if you go to that category here called max, is max speed, max boost, max jump, and so on, and you sort them out by max jump, it shows you the first place Diamondback Explorer, the second place Anaconda. See that values 41.8 and 41.4. Basically what it means, it shows you the best configuration for that ship without engineering. So that's how it sorts them out. Now let me show you what happens if you go to Etsy. Now if you go to Etsy and you do the same thing and sort the ships by the jump range, the first place actually doesn't change. It's still Diamondback Explorer, but Anaconda, that was second in Coriolis, it's actually middle of the pack over here. Why is that? Well, Etsy doesn't take into consideration what you can possibly build with the ship. It just shows you the stock configuration of the ship that you're getting when you buy it first time from the station. So whatever the frameshift drive you get the ship with, whatever jump range it shows, that's the jump range that will show you here in Etsy, which is very confusing because if you're looking for an exploration ship and you would use Etsy, you wouldn't figure out that Anaconda has actually has the best jump range in the game if it's fully engineered. Now, Coriolis doesn't take the engineering into consideration when sorting them out, but still it gives you a good idea which ship is the best, and then engineering obviously only makes it better. Now let me show you another example. What if you're looking for the best ship for the cargo? So let's use Etsy and let's sort them out by cargo. As you can see, the first place has Type 9 Heavy, Type 10 Defender, and then Imperial Cutter. And it shows you those values. Now again, those values are the values of the cargo that you get your ship with when you're buying it the first time. Now let me show you what happens when I sort them out in Coriolis. So if I go into Coriolis and I sort them out by a cargo, you see the first place has actually Cutter, not Type 9 Heavy. Type 9 Heavy is close second, and then it's Federal Corvette, because the Coriolis shows you the value, what would happen if in all the optional internals you would put just the cargo. So that basically shows you that the best ship for cargo is actually Imperial Cutter, not Type 9 Heavy, if you chose not to use the shield generators, because then it's actually Type 9 Heavy better than Imperial Cutter. So that also applies to passengers, speed, and a boost speed. Now again, it doesn't take into consideration engineering, it just takes into consideration all different modules that you can put into that ship. Now I hope you find this video useful. If you did, please leave it a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.